WCLN 1170 Radio and Star Communications Channel 16 proudly present the We Should Know Show, an upbeat, informative look at people, places, and issues facing our community. This education-based analysis of issues will remain positive and informative. Now, here's your host, J.W. Simmons, as we consider closely what we should know.
Welcome back. We Should Know is on the air. My name is J.W. Simmons, your host. Always a pleasure to be with you. Today we're bringing you a very special program you're going to want to see, you're going to want your neighbors to see. So reach out, call somebody, tell them you're on the air. We come to you on Star Communications TV, Channel 16, also simulcast on WCLN Radio. Our guest today is Chris Sessoms. And Chris, I'm going to start with you right in the middle. You've been the leader of this pack to try to help folks in the western part of North Carolina, along with a multiple list of people that you have helped with Helping Hands here in Sampson County. Also, Janet Rawls. Jan, thank you for being with us. First time on the show. These folks have been on quite a bit, but I want to thank you for taking time to be with us. And of course, Becky Spell with Tim's Gift. Becky, I know I can always call on you because you've got something going on or you're engaged in something here. Ladies, it's always great to have a program and basically talk about how you can help somebody else. Today's show is exactly that. Chris, I'll start with you. You just recently got back from the western part of the state. September 2024, Helene hit, not winds, but water, flooded it. Now we're dealing with torrential forest devastation, fires up there all over the place. Tell us where we're at, what you saw.
We saw people living in campers. Some were in an Ingalls Park. I looked, there was no electrical lines. So if they don't have a generator, they're living in their campers with no electricity. Well, I'm assuming the children get on the bus there. They go to work from there. That's living in the camper. We saw a lot of totes outside. And I guess it's where the camper is so small, they can't put all their items in the camper. So you saw a lot of totes stacked around the campers. One guy's living in a cargo trailer, and he had the cooker in the back of his truck. So it's something to see. It's also something to see how humble they are. They're very gracious. They don't complain. Life dealt them this, and they're dealing with it as bravely as they can.
Jan, you've got a background in the military,
Yes,
and you're used to seeing people sleep in some conditions that's pretty tough. But we're talking here senior people, we're talking young children, and those kinds of things. What caught your eye this time going up there and engaging with these ladies?
Well, one of the other ladies and I were left unsupervised while they were recording for y'all. And we had a number of people come up, and we had already unloaded, and the girls hadn't put it up on the shelves yet, but they just needed a few things. And Chris said they were humbled. We were trying to give them more and more and more, and they said, no, I don't need that. I need the bare minimums. We had one gentleman come up, and he had 3 children, and he's like, I just need, I need something for my children. So, we looked for the macaroni and cheese, and we looked for the Chef Boyardee, and then we looked for little things. But the devastation is just overwhelming. But they aren't taking too much. They're taking just what they need. And I think even if we tried to give them more, they were very gracious. And he's like, no, I don't need that. But we tried to give them more because it warmed our hearts.
Becky, I think one of the things I think about you, you've been in the Tim's Gift, and every time I see that title, every time I think about you, you've been in the contact, giving, caring, sharing things for years now. You go to the mountains. Does it bring it to a whole nother level?
It really does, because we're accustomed to having things that we need, and what we give here sometimes is like a bonus to people. There are many people in need all across our state. But we're very blessed here. And you realize that when you go to the mountains and see the devastation. But what impacted me more was to see the attitude of the people that we had a chance to talk with, and to see complete strangers. And I didn't hear negativity. You didn't hear them complaining about woe or we, or like she said, begging for more. No, they were very gracious and kind with all that they've been through. So it was an eye-opener for me that the way we give and receive is so important. Which end we are on, the giving or the receiving, we need to show gratitude and give God the glory. And they did that.
Well, ladies, really, we're talking about, if folks is watching this show today, or listening to the show on radio or what have you, if all of a sudden they would just stop and think, what if I didn't have anything? Just a moment, let your mind go in that area. Everything suddenly has been taken away. Chris, that's exactly what happened. It was taken away literally in a matter of minutes or hour or so. I'm talking completely gone, annihilated, not there anymore.
I think one of the things that is so strong to me is these people have this has happened to them, and yet you don't hear a negative word about God, not at all. Instead, it's what he's done to help me, or what he's done to pull me through this. Their faith is just huge in the mountains. It's just a whole different level. I wondered if we put out food here like they did there, would people be saying, I don't need that much, give me that, or I don't need it. It's just amazing that God has allowed this to happen to people that are so kind-hearted and so willing to help their neighbors, but they can't right now.
Jan, when we walk through this cycle of seeing what you've seen and you've kind of gotten some fresh eyes on this, what do you want folks to know? What do you want people listening today or watching this show today to understand? Can you create a slither of the feeling and emotion that you have and what you see the expectation is, and try to transfer that to folks?
It was September. It seems like it should all be taken care of. It's been forgotten. I think people need to realize that they can't be forgotten. They still need items. They need prayers. They need hope. They need money. They need us to not forget them. Amen. So much has happened since that. You've had different disasters throughout the country. Now we have the wildfires going on right now, and I just think we need to understand that it's not over, that there is still a lot to be done to help these people, both with giving of items and prayers and money.
Yes,
Chris, one of the things I think about you is that you're relentless. You're not going to give up on anybody. The word forgotten is a key word, though.
Yes.
I think you're exactly right when we look at it. Oftentimes we get misdirected with something else, or we get caught up into something else. How do we make ourselves understand this is not going away? I mean, just because the mainstream network TV cameras are not engaged, it's still there.
One of the things that I do want to add is, if you're not a friend of mine on Facebook, please send me a request. The distribution center in the mountains sends me a list every week of the things that they need to help with the distribution center. And now other centers are closing. They just don't have the help, or they've closed. So they're getting at least 50 people a day coming in for food. If you think how much one day of 50 people would be, and take that times 7 in 1 week. They're going through food really fast, but I do put that out there every week. Also, they're sending me lists of what the firemen need now. The firemen are coming some from North Carolina, some from here. and they're having to stay in these firehouses, and they don't have that much food. And if you're in the Swannanoa area, they don't have a grocery store. So there's nowhere just to run and pick up these items. So they're asking for items for them also. So the need just keeps growing. When you think it's coming to an end, it's not. It's getting bigger and bigger. I love meeting the one gentleman that worked for UPS. And on his days off, he comes and delivers food to people that need it. Such a nice young man. He married, has a young baby, but he saw a need to go out and help these people by delivering food to them. That was huge, just listening to him talk, how he was willing to show his love that way. Also, one of the comments he made was he had quit going to church. And this has had him start going to church again, as he's seeing God work through these people.
Becky, you've dedicated a large part of your life to that idea of receiving things and giving to people, of garnering items that oftentimes folks can't imagine they might need, everything from walkers right on around. When you see what's happening up there, what are some of the specific kinds of things? I mean, I guess there's old folks, younger folks, people that maybe need walkers or something. Is there a place other than churches? Got about 2 minutes before we go to break here. So if you can just kind of tap that in for us.
Well, there is a need, but many of the people there don't know where to go. And that's why this distribution center is so important, because when we went inside, it was packed. You had to work your way through the aisles because they have those items there. And the shed heads help out with that. They're taking medical equipment up there. When we have a surplus or have something that we can't use, they are willing to take it when they go. And, you know, I think the beauty of the whole thing is this complete stage here at Clinton Community Church could be filled with people from Sampson County, not just this group or others, but coming together. There have been many up there. The Baptist men have, a group is still there. So what we're doing is not something that's isolated. It's something that's needed, and it's ongoing, because there will be more storms, because we're living in the days when we know that Jesus could return any day. And this is in Revelation. And what we're supposed to do is help our fellow man. And we saw that. We saw them helping one another. They helped us because we didn't leave with negativity or feeling sorry for them. We were grateful for the opportunity.
So they're not looking for sympathy.
No.
They're looking for opportunity. And you feel as though being part of I'll call it a faith movement, that you're giving them that opportunity, both spiritually and tangibly.
Yes, we prayed with all of them. When we left the distribution center, it was like in the hours that we were there, we bonded. There was a bond that you won't ever forget. And we prayed with them, and we feel like that's one of the most important things that we can give to these people, because they need to know that in the eastern North Carolina area, that prayers are going up for them, and we've not forgotten them.
We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in a moment. We're going to continue this conversation about the mountains, about devastation, and about how it's impacting lives. We're also going to talk a bit about how you can help, even if you can't go up there, how you can help. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome to Cork and Brew Roseboro, where you can enjoy your favorite coffee, fraps, smoothies, bakery items, sandwiches, and select beer and wines while reconnecting with friends and family. Sit down and enjoy the experience. Come on by and give us a try.
How can your friends save you money? It's easy. Refer a relative, coworker, neighbor, or friend to Star Communications. Friend signs up for high-speed internet service. Friend's new account is confirmed. Friend gives your name to our service representative as the one who referred them to Star. You receive a $30 internet credit. It's just that simple. And even better, receive a $30 internet credit for every referral that results in a new confirmed account. High-speed internet from Star Communications. Refer a friend today.
At the Reedy Mark, we take pride in a unique, distinguished customer experience. We specialize in handcrafted cocktails, allocated bourbons, as well as gourmet signature food items exclusive to our menu at the Reedy Mark in Roseboro.
Looking for training that leads to a high-demand, high-paying career? Bladen Community College can help you get there. Enroll in our welding program and gain the skills and expertise needed to excel in the industry and secure a successful future. Explore our HVAC program, where you will learn to install and service energy-efficient systems to keep homes and businesses comfortable year-round. Learn more at bladencc.edu or give us a call to get started today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. J.W. Simmons here. The name of the show is We Should Know. We're coming to you on Star Communications TV, Channel 16, simulcast on WCLN Radio. We're talking with Janet Rawls, Chris Sessoms, and Becky Spell. Well-known names. Jan, you're in with the crew here now that has been pushing mountains out of the way to get to help people. So glad that you're on board. I want to kind of start this next part of the show to talk a bit about the things that folks can do at this moment, at this time, as we're having this conversation. Chris, tell us about some of the things you know people need, and they can get that to Helping Hands, whatever that item is, or if it's just a cash donation or a check, they need to write a check so, for to charity or what have you. You can help them with that, and it goes to the mountains.
Okay, one thing they can do is if they're going to attend on April the 11th, and I'll go into that in a minute, they can bring a can of food. If you bring that, we will have people attending our function or our, whatever you want to call it, concert, from the mountains. So you'll be able to actually meet a couple of the people that have their hands directly on what's going on in the mountains. On April the 11th, we have many groups that have spoken up and are willing to help us for free to come and sing and use their voice to put on a concert so that we can do a love donation for the mountains. We need money, one thing, because we have people who are in campers that cannot get electricity turned on. They don't have the deposit. As one woman said to me, I had some cash saved and it went down the river in my house. So what they did have is just gone, and they've used up what they've got. So we want to be able to send money to the power companies so these people can get their powers turned on, especially if they have children. They need that in order for them to do what they need to do. They also can help buy food. Think about what is easy for you to fix. If you have children, macaroni and cheese, baked beans, spaghetti, anything like that is an easy fix for people that if they're limited on gas because they're still heating their homes and they're having to use propane, that they can heat up and use. They need toiletries. One of the things that was a shock to me was when the lady sent me a note and they needed feminine products. They had none. So one lady was having to use rags. Now that'll bring you to your knees. So I was able to put it out on Facebook, and we got tons of toiletries in for these women that needed it. So think about what you use on a daily basis these people need, because everything is gone.
So basically the things that, if you look at it from what you're saying, those things that we take for granted, that's just there. It could be toothpaste. It could be a toothbrush that we just take for granted is there. Those are the things to pick up, put in something, bring it to you. You can literally ship it up there. Now, Becky, the beauty of that seems to me is that you're going from one faith-based organization and literally handing it to another. It's not that somebody is loading something up and carrying it and parking it in a big warehouse. No. You're literally giving it to them.
Mm-hmm. And the beauty of that, JW, is that started here. The grassroots are right here in Sampson County, because we're talking about 3 faith-based ministries that work together. Not the only ones in the county either. There are many others, but the Shed Heads at the Salemburg Food Bank, Helping Hands, and Tim's Gift, we've pulled together. And there are some activities that we can do more with and some that the other one will take the lead in. But we found that working together makes a big difference. And that's what I saw in the mountains. You didn't see a lot of Lone Rangers. We did see a few tents that looked like just a little pup tent that would maybe one person could get in on the side of the mountain. But we saw them pulling together. And that's the beauty of it. And I think it's something that will make North Carolina shine from all the 50 states. I know other states have gone through things, but we have truly seen from hurricanes to this flood in the western part of the state to the weather we have, and we've seen people say, let's work together. And that's important for this concert, working together. If we want this auditorium, this beautiful, basically sanctuary, to be filled with people, and for people to realize that they can't come in late, because I think we see 400 people. That's how many chairs we have. When the Wilmington Choir fills this stage and we hear the singing and the praising that's going on here, we're going to understand the unity, what unity means, because it won't be the same if we don't come together. So that's the beauty of what was happening
Chris,
in the mountains.
I would suggest people get here on the 11th early anyway, because if you want to get a seat, you might need to get here early.
Well, the doors won't open till 5:45, but the Shed Heads will be in the parking lot with their trailers. So as people get off work, they could come and get a bite to eat. And we'll have tables set up where they can sit and eat. Plus, we'll have a silent auction going on of items that have been donated to us. And we'll have some of our shirts. Jan has one on that is for the mountains. It talks in the back. Turn around, Jan, so I can see it. It says, can you read it? When you go through the waters, you're turned too far. When you go through the waters, I will be with you. And when you go through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. That's all over the mountains. That saying is. So they can purchase a shirt. Most of us will have them on that night. But come and be a part of that and meet some of these people and talk to them ahead of time that are coming from the mountains.
Janet, it kind of strikes me as that, you know, and again, when I look at you, I think about your military background. This is just kind of a faith-based command center that has come together, I guess, just out of not necessarily any ingenuity, but it's come together because people believe that God has a path here.
You know, I believe that, and I don't mean this to come out in a negative way, but my faith is not as strong as like Miss Becky or Chris or some of the other people in the area, but I know that everything happens for a reason, and I believe that God, he's got his hands in it. And even if you're not you don't go to church every Sunday, and you may not read the Bible or anything else, you know, you can be involved. You can be involved, and that's what's so nice, and that's what's so wonderful. Being from the North, it's a little bit different down here in the South. And the first question I was asked when I moved here was, "What church do you go to?" And I thought, wow, that's kind of a question. But it's good to know that you have a church, that you have a home church, or that God is there, and you see it everywhere. You know, you see it everywhere, and it's just wonderful. It's wonderful to see that. And Chris, I've been all over.
That's interesting, what Jan just said, in the sense that it is part of the identity of folks, and not only just here, but kind of in the whole totality of faith, is that you do have an identity, and that's not a scar, but that's an opportunity to hold something up that's greater than any of us.
One of the biggest things that I felt really proud of Sampson County was when we were in the mountains, the girls at the distribution center told us that they're getting between 1 and 2 boxes of items from Sampson County every week. Wow. That's huge. Absolutely. So people are reading the post. They are going through Amazon or Sam's or however they choose to ship it, and shipping items directly to them so they get them and get them out to where it's needed.
Becky, you've been doing that kind of direct delivery of items for a long time, in that somebody brings something to you and you distribute it. And the important thing, I think, is folks come to you, and I've always thought this was just amazing. They come to you and say, I've got a certain need. And if you don't have it, you'll figure out a way to get it. Is that kind of what's happening here?
It is what's happening here. And we've seen that happen at Tim's Gift over and over again and again. And when we get low on certain items or pieces of equipment, Edith and I will talk about, well, where will we get this? We have only had to buy one new piece of equipment, and we began in 2008. And that piece of equipment is honestly the only thing, because when we get low, God sends it. Someone will drive up and say, my father passed away, this happened, and we have a house full of items, and we don't want to throw it away. And I believe what He's taught me through this. That's the reason Tim's Gift began, because when Tim passed away, our house was full of equipment, and I didn't want to see it anymore. I didn't want that oxygen machine there and those things. And it's like God spoke to my heart and said, one day my children will treasure leftovers. And I didn't really understand it to begin with, but He's shown me that through working not only with our ministry, but pulling us together, because what the shed heads might need, or what Helping Hands needs, or we need, we help one another. And it's not just there. It goes out much farther than that. There are many people doing things that no one knows about, but we've never had anybody to come, except last week, one lady came and needed a cane. And when I went in the wrong center, we have 3 little places where we keep our equipment. It was my fault. And when I came back and said, ma'am, they're all gone. They've all been given out. Late that afternoon, I went in the other storage building, and there were 20 canes all lined up, hanging up. So I had her number and I could call her. That's the beauty of it, though. We're not perfect in what we're doing. None of us are. But when we keep trying, God will keep providing.
That's an amazing story. I kind of think about that in the sense of your faith. It's that idea that it's always there, but you have to look for it. And with the mountain situation, you guys didn't really have to look. Once you got there, it was all around you everywhere. So when we come back from break this time, I'd like to kind of dig a little bit into the first thing you see or saw that really told you that you had to keep this effort going, that it was something that individually instilled in your heart. No matter whether you've been doing it for a while or Jan, you're just kind of getting into it, that particular thing that struck you that says, I can't back away from this. I got to do whatever I need to do to carry this message forward, to make sure other people feel what I saw and try to get them to understand, feel what you feel. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned. We Should Know is talking about how you can help folks in the western part of the state that is still suffering, that still does not have a home. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At Fisher's, it's not just about fashion. It's about exceptional service. Experience top-notch customer care and find your perfect look. Visit Fisher's today and feel the difference. Looking to refresh your home? At Clinton Appliance and Furniture, we've got everything you need to create the perfect space. We're here to help make your house a home with stylish furniture, appliances, flooring, design services, delivery, and repair. Visit ClintonAppliance.com to explore our selection, or visit us at 401 Northeast Boulevard in Clinton. Shop local. Shop smart. Shop Clinton Appliance and Furniture.
Experiencing slow internet? If you have a fast internet package, the problem is most likely your wireless router. With more devices using Wi-Fi, your wireless router may not be able to deliver the speed and coverage you need. We now have the leading solution to enhance your internet experience. Using small devices in a mesh network, these Wi-Fi appliances cover just about any size home so that all your devices can operate to their fullest potential. Whole home Wi-Fi from Star Communications. Get the most out of your internet connection.
If you run a business, you need sales. To get sales, you need customers. To get customers, you need exposure. Let our team of experts craft and produce the perfect video ad to reach your intended audience while making the most of your advertising dollars. Call 1-800-706-6538 or visit starcom.net to contact our Star Communications production team and get your business moving to the next level.
The average American household has 17 devices connected to the internet. With more and more devices able to get online, you may need to increase your internet speed. Call Star Communications today and let us help you select the package that's right for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know's on there. I want to thank you for being with us today. We are talking with Chris Sessoms, right in the middle of two ladies here. Chris, you've been kind of the storm leader for the mountains and things that's going on in the mountains. And of course, Becky Spell, Tim's Gift, Helping Hands, and the newcomer is Janet Rawls. Jan, thank you for teaming up with these ladies and bringing your vast experience with military to try to keep them on track. How about that? Is that a good way to look at it? So, you know, Becky, you were talking about something as we went off air, is this idea, if things are there, sometimes we just don't know it, or we thought we had it and we didn't have it. But in this situation, with trying to help folks in another part of the state that's literally suffering through life with nothing, it's this idea, it's there and you do have it. And Jan, I'm going to start with you because you mentioned something as we were on break that I thought was important. It's easy for you to help now because you got all this technology and everything to do that.
Yes, sir. We can provide the address of where to ship it to our distribution center up there. It's as simple as going online, Amazon, Sam's, Walmart.com, and shipping it. They love Spam. They loved canned meats. It's easy enough for them, and it's that simple. We have the address. It can be provided. So it's that simple. You don't even have to go out and buy it yourself. You can just go online and do it. So many of us shop online nowadays that it's that simple to do. And you know, Chris has a list of things that they need, and it's mainly, you know, they need the canned goods. They need things that the canned goods, the cleaning supplies, and all of it can be purchased on Amazon or one of the other shops. So it's that simple.
Chris, one of the things that strikes me too is you've got a website, I believe, that folks could go to, and if they want to contact you via technology, they can contact you via email or other methods. They don't necessarily have to pick up the phone, call you, but that's also available.
But if they just go to my Facebook page, 9/10 of it is about the mountains and what people are sending me videos, or I'm copying videos and putting them up there. One of the things that I think I get requests a lot for is they want laundry detergent and they want the pods. And I asked the girl, why the pods? And she said, because we divide them up. We put them in Ziploc bags, so we're giving out just enough for that week each time. So that's the reason they want the pods, so they can divide them up depending upon how many's in the household and give them out that way. But every week I get a request for the laundry detergent.
Becky, we're talking basic survival stuff here. I mean, we're talking about laundry. We're talking about children that may just need basic nourishing food that is still kind of wasting away. You would think that since September 2024, with the millions or billions of dollars we've heard going into that area, that a lot of that would be taken care of.
Right. Well, I think there have been guidelines, restrictions. There have been things that have been shared probably through the newscast that we don't always know if that's really what's happening. And God gave us that opportunity to see the need firsthand, and it is there. And that's why the children have been included in this also. And Chris will share that because this was her brainchild. God has downloaded in her that those children need to be remembered. And that's happened since it started. The shed heads have been up several times. But what we saw is even in the distribution center where we were, and we loaded up outside, there was so much carried in. But the people who came in to shop, they call it shopping, but it's very minimal, if anything. If they don't have the money, they let them get what they need. But one man put something back and I said, you don't need that. He said, I could use it, but I'm okay. But somebody else needs it worse than I do. That was the mentality of the mountain people that we met and that we saw with things happening throughout our time there. So I think it's a lesson for us because most of us, every cabinet we open is overflowing. We've got more than we could ever use. Even if you don't want to go out and buy things, we could take things we've got and bring it to this wonderful event that's going to be here on April 11th. Bring some canned foods, bring something, and it will go to good use to those people. They're appreciative.
Chris, I want to get in the last segment today. I want to really drill into what's going to happen here on the 11th. And as we do that, I'm kind of trying to build a framework here that Becky just spoke to, and that is the specific things and the faces that all of y'all have seen the faces. When you go to sleep at night, when you lay your head down and you're trying to get to sleep, is there something that you see sometimes that says, tomorrow I'm going to hit this a little bit harder. Next week I might need to go back. I'm not going to just sit passively by and do nothing.
One of the things that was on my heart this time is to take the children Easter baskets. The parents don't have a way to even get the stuff. And all of us as parents want to have an Easter basket for our child for Easter morning. We just do. It's who we are. So a lot of people came together and made it possible for these children to get Easter baskets. And we tried to do, as an example, we did a large bag of Cheetos in each one of them so that they could share with their family. And Phillips Lovegear gave us enormous bears to put in each one of them. But they're so large, we don't use basket, we use cake rounds. And the bags are totally full. It's piled on top of each other. We stuffed plastic eggs so they could have an Easter egg hunt. You want to make the children feel like life is as normal as it can be. One of the things the mountains needs is they need children clothing. They don't have enough to go around for the children. So anybody that has children that's outgrowing their clothing, as long as they're gently used, we need them for the mountains. The children need clothing and shoes up there.
Jan, a lot of times folks will spring cleaning, I think is what they call it, or just toss stuff away inadvertently and not think about it or throw it away. But what Chris is saying is that might be an item of not only great comfort, but the only thing that person's got. I mean, we're used to having a closet full of whatever, and now all of a sudden here's a person with not only nothing there, but no closet.
Very true.
Just something to get by to the next day.
Right. It's very true. And it's the children's clothing that they really need now. And we say gently used because, we don't want them to think, that we're just kind of like, oh, well, if they're going to get something, they want it to be nice. So that's why we say gently used. But I mean, other things as you talk about spring cleaning, if you're I'm at the age where I started downsizing, so, they're starting over. They need gently used pots and pans. Or if my mother-in-law is wonderful for giving me things that others in the family had. I don't need any more silverware or any more glasses or dishes, but these families in the mountains do. They're starting over. They're starting with nothing. These rivers rushed through and literally washed cars down. And if they were living in a camper, everything just got rushed. We saw stuff stacked on top. We saw cars stacked on top of one another. We saw a train flipped over. Yes. We saw people that were living down by the river that had nothing left. So they're starting from scratch. So they need everything. To include the things for the dishes. And I don't know if I should mention this or not, but very quickly, Chris handed me a thing of envelopes and said, here, Jan, go ahead and send these to all the churches in Sampson County. And I'm like, she goes, go from the phone book. I said, I don't have a phone book, but I went online. And so we sent out a letter, and I read that letter, and it said something as simple as the women's groups at the churches to do like I don't know what she called it, but to do
housewarming.
Yeah, like a housewarming thing. So all the women have like a housewarming, and to get the new towels and the new things that we need, and then we can send that off. And I'm thinking, what an awesome thing to do. I was hit by a tornado, and my church at the time did all my stuff they did a Christmas thing for me. So now it was wonderful to see. So simple things like that. They're starting from scratch. They have nothing. So something as simple as spring cleaning and cleaning out your closets, downsizing so that somebody else can upsize.
Becky, it's a thing of gathering and giving. So just listening to Jan's message, we might need to just kind of look around and go, are you really using that? Is this something where's the importance of it? Is it an heirloom or is it something you can give? With that in mind, is there things that maybe is just not what you would want to send to the mountains? I mean, you don't want to send a table to the mountains or anything, I wouldn't think. But is there something that comes to mind that's maybe not the best thing to send?
Not the best thing to send?
Yeah, not the best.
Well, the larger items, of course, because many of them now that do have a home, it's the smaller homes, the tiny little houses.
Right.
And some of those they couldn't even move in because of complications with government. And so it's hard to know. The main thing I think would be to keep it food items, canned items, something simple, the clothing items, but not the clothes. Like we were sending some last fall that were more than gently used. Please don't send clothes that you would not want your children or your family to wear. And items that we take for granted, like maybe in your drawer you've got 4 or 5 big spoons or cake plates and things, and you think, what could I do? You could box up and maybe have one box that just simply says kitchen items, things that they wouldn't be able to go out and buy because there are not a lot of stores open. They're closed. And I think that if we use common sense in what we would want to receive, if we were in that situation, we'll know exactly what to send and what not to send.
Yeah, it seems almost a common sense kind of thing, guys. I mean, it's like Becky's talking about, if you have spoons or things that can be used, but you wouldn't want to remodel your kitchen and say, well, I'm going to send my old kitchen cabinets up there. I mean, some things are relatively obvious you just don't do. But at the same time, when we come back from break, I want to talk about those things that folks could actually bring here on the 11th of April to Clinton Community Church. They could bring and literally deliver it, and it will get to the mountains, because I'm looking at 3 people that has dedicated their selves and making sure these people have things in their hand that, as we go to break here, we'll call it the survival items, the things you have to get by, to survive the next day, to get through what the storm is still impacting these folks with. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned, call a friend. We're talking about the western part of the state.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
Hey guys, Sydney and Jesse here from At the Table. Are you enjoying the show? We want to hear from you. We have a quick survey where you can tell us things you've learned, recipes you've tried, and how the show has impacted you. You'll be entered into a grand prize drawing. Check out our link or scan the QR code for more info. Thank you for tuning in and cooking with us at the table.
Ready to start fresh? Continue your journey? Or explore something entirely new? At Sampson Community College, we're here to help you begin here and go anywhere. With flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for your success, there's no better place to reach your goals. Registration for Fall 2025 is open March 31st through April 17th. Expand your horizons today. Sampson Community College. Your future starts here.
We find in life that some things just go together. Like peanut butter and jelly, cheese and crackers, steak and potatoes, and of course, milk and cookies. But the bottle and the throttle are never a good combination. Be smart. Be safe. Be responsible. Don't drink and drive.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know. Coming on the last part of the show today, my name is J.W. Simmons. I'm your host. The name of the show is We Should Know. And our guest today is Chris Sessoms, Janet Rawls, and of course, Becky Spell. It's a commentary to say we've got three ladies in leadership making a difference individually, personally, and developing relationships in the western part of the state, coming from Sampson and surrounding counties to support this effort. The climactic moment for the next couple of weeks folks need to plan for, and as this show airs, it'll probably be less than 2 weeks, plan to be on the 11th at Clinton Community Church. Chris, you've got a great group of multiple singers that are going to be here that's going to really raise the spirit, increase the sound, increase the movement and spirituality of the reason you're doing what you're doing.
I promise you the Holy Spirit will be here. Amen. Big time. We have Willing Heart, Carson McCullen, the Wilmington Celebration Choir. We have His Voice. We have the Marksmen and the New Bethel Quartet. Plus, we have the Clinton Tiger cheerleaders will be here on stage also. So we have a huge lineup coming together. In fact, we're trying to put them all together so everybody has their time. But we'll also have the shed heads that will be serving food. I promise you, every dollar of everything we do will go straight to the mountains. It is huge for us. And anytime you want to ask and see where the funds are going, I'd be glad to show you where they're going and how they've gone. The money that has been given, we've sent food with. People have done it individually. But on the 11th, it is a coming together of people who want to help in any shape nor form to come together and do a love offering for the mountains. All of this is to help people who need a way to live and just survive.
Becky, it seems to me that this event is such that if somebody just hearing about it, hopefully they're not, but if they're just hearing about it for the first time, if they've got something else going on, they might want to just kind of check their calendar and say, wait a minute, what's more important here? Yes. This might be the important thing that not only is changing lives, not only are they giving, but it could actually change their life.
Yes, and we encourage you not to wait, not to think about it and say, well, I'll do this, I'll go another time. This is a phenomenal event. And we want it to go out everywhere for people to hear about it, so maybe other counties, communities can stage their own event to help them people in the mountains. Won't it be wonderful when they do rebuild and when those people celebrate that they are getting a normal life back, which may take a long time, but they're going to be giving thanks to the people in eastern North Carolina, truly, because a lot has happened here. And we'll have people that are coming here you won't want to miss. One testimony is from a man that is well known in our county. I wouldn't dare call his name, but back in 1st of November, he called me one Saturday night and said, I have to tell you about a miracle. I said, what happened? He said, I went up to the mountains with a group and I went out to Lowe's and bought things and I had some room left in the back of my pickup. He said, so the Lord spoke to me and said, go back and buy a generator. He said, so I went back in Lowe's, I bought a generator. He said, I put it in the back of my pickup and went to the mountains. And he said, when we got up there, we unloaded some things. And he said, but the generator, I didn't have a home for it. And I thought, what happened? And he was given a number. And the man had called into a place then when more distribution centers were open and said, I am in bad shape. I live in the very western part of North Carolina, almost the Tennessee border. And I'm running out of oxygen. and I'm not going to survive. I've got to have a generator. And that person at that distribution center shared with one of our neighbors, and he drove across that state, the rest of that state, and delivered that generator to that man. He said, I'll never forget it. On April 11th, it will be an unforgettable night for the people that come here. And it's going to just be phenomenal. So we want everybody to mark their calendars and bring your friends and neighbors.
This is an event that if you just took one of those groups that you mentioned, you would have a large turnout. Now, what you're doing is ladling out God's message in about 4 or 5 different groups, along with this particular facility here, and God bless Clinton Community Church and continue to do that because they have been forthcoming in helping you with your journey.
Yes. Yeah, they normally don't open it up to groups that are doing fundraising because they don't want complications.
Sure.
But when they brought this before the board, everybody on the board said yes. So this is awesome that they're allowing us to use this beautiful facility and the grounds. The grounds is great for parking. If you're older and you want to come and you're concerned, we will have golf carts here to help transport you to the door and to take you back to your car. So don't let that stop you. It is phenomenal that these groups are all together at one time. I don't know that it's ever happened before, but it's a big event, and it needs to be shared not just here, but in the heavenly realm too. I do want to add that if you want to make a checkout, if you cannot attend and would like to make a checkout, please make it to the Bread of Life. We've gotten together and talked, and we're going to use just one of our foundations so everybody isn't confused. But make it to the Bread of Light, P.O. Box 475, Clinton, North Carolina, 2832882.
And that's a 5013C nonprofit organization. So that is a tax donation that they can use. And folks look at that sometimes. And I think the big thing when I hear people, Jan, talk about this and the size of this event, it's almost like I look at your background, it's like you're assembling all the troops from multiple organizations, and we're coming together and you're developing that command structure to make a huge impact. And I think, ladies, that's what the Lord is telling you to do. Absolutely. This is going to be a huge impact, and we don't want to leave anybody behind. So you're signaling them, be here on the 11th.
This is open to everybody. It's open to Sampson County. It's open to everybody.
Bladen County,
everybody. You know, when I was sending out the letters, all of a sudden I realized I was sending them to Dunn and Elizabethtown. I'm thinking, well, that's really not that far away. It's not that far away. And if you have plans and you can't make the concert, 4:30, they'll be serving food. And we know the Shedheads, how when they cook, it's phenomenal. Absolutely. So they'll have things available for sale. So if you can't come to the concert, come and eat and drop something off. Drop off a check, $10, $5, $1,000. Drop off a canned good, whatever you can do. But it's open to everybody. Make a night of it. It's family. The whole family can come. It is. I've heard a couple of these choirs. I've heard the Wilmington Choir, and they are phenomenal. Yeah. They are just. Bring your tissues. It's phenomenal.
As the old saying goes, they make you move in your seat. Is that a good?
Yeah. Yep.
And Joey Gore does a great job with that. I just want to kind of emphasize here what Jan just said, Chris. If somebody says, well, I don't know whether I want to go to that or not. You could put your toe in the water. You could bring something, drop it off. If nothing else, park and get out for a few minutes and just kind of, you don't have to obligate your whole evening, but come and touch. You don't necessarily have to jump off the end of the pier, so to speak, but you can come and touch and be a part of a piece of it. And if you need to leave, you can leave.
You can drive through.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll meet your car.
That's exactly right. So is there other things that's going to be going on other than the great fellowship that we've talked about?
Well, the words, all I can say is the Lord gave to me when I started this was the Gaither Homecoming. So this is the Sampson County Homecoming. We have groups coming together from everywhere. I mean, the Wilmington Choir, they come from all over North Carolina.
All over the country.
And they're willing to come and give their time for free to come and put on this concert so that we all can worship the Lord together and help those in need.
This is almost phenomenal, and to kind of tag on what Jan mentioned, I think is this idea of where it's at. Clinton, and I'm going to try to use this name. And I'm not necessarily promoting, but I am promoting Clinton Community Church, located right beside of one of the premier community colleges in the state of North Carolina. It's easy to find, Becky. There's, as the old saying goes, there's no more excuses. Right now's the time.
And not only that, if they come, we're told, I love that movie, where they say, if you build it, they will come. If it's been planned, it's going to be fantastic. And we hope they will come, and they will get to meet some of the people from the mountains. 3 carloads are coming? 4 carloads. They were so excited when Chris invited them. We were at the distribution center. They said, we'll be there. So who knows what God's going to do? I just think it would be sad if anybody misses this opportunity, because it can bring us as a family in Sampson County of believers, because we are a strong faith-based community. I think it will bring us closer to one another and help us to really realize the joy of helping those people get back on their feet.
If we had to signature what we're talking about here, particularly April 11th event, this April 11th event, if we signature that as come and share the love, would that be an appropriate signature?
Very much so.
I like that.
I love it so much that I hope that when somebody else was in need, we do it again. Let's let Sampson County show who we really are.
So this could be a premier event. You know where I'm going, Jan?
I do.
Well, for a series of events to support people that have experienced disasters. And disasters, as one of you pointed out earlier, it appears to be something we're going to continue to face. As we sit here and look at our globe, we're seeing people suffering from earthquakes, thousands of people losing their lives in Asia, and it's one replication of that. So I want to thank each and every one of you for what you're doing, for the dedication of your time and service to community, and I encourage you to hold close to that faith, no matter what the obstacle is.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. Looking forward to seeing you again each and every week on Tuesdays at 2:30, also simulcast on WCLN Radio. And as always, may God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of We Should Know with host J.W. Simmons. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion regarding this or any episode, please send your emails to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And remember to tune in every Tuesday at 2:30 for another informative episode of We Should Know.